Walter R.Roberts was a writer, lecturer, and former government official. Life and career. Walter R.Roberts was born in Austria, educated at the University of Vienna and Cambridge University, and died in Washington, D.C. He was a research assistant at the Harvard Law School and joined the U.S. government in 1942. After 8 years of service with the Voice of America, he was transferred to the Austrian desk of the Department of State. In 1953, he was appointed Deputy Area Director for Europe in the newly created U.S. Information Agency. In 1955, he was a member of the American delegation to the Austrian treaty talks that culminated in a state treaty, signed in Vienna by the four occupying powers on May 15, 1955. In 1960, he was appointed Counselor for Public Affairs at the American Embassy in Belgrade, Yugoslavia. In 1966, he was assigned as diplomat in residence at Brown University in Providence, RI, and in 1967 he was transferred to Geneva, Switzerland to serve as Counselor for Public Affairs at the U.S. Mission to the United Nations. In 1969, he was appointed Deputy Associate Director of USIA and in 1971 was elevated to the Associate Director position, then the senior career post in USIA. In 1973, his book Tito, Mihailovich and the Allies, 1941–1945 was published, described by Foreign Affairs as the best book on the subject. Quote, in 1974, he received the Distinguished Honor Award from USIA. He retired from the U.S. government in 1974 to take the position of Director of Diplomatic Studies at Georgetown University's Center for Strategic and International Studies. His first assignment there was to serve as Executive Director of a panel on international information, educational and cultural affairs. In 1975, he was called back into government to serve as Executive Director of the Board for International Broadcasting, BIB, the government agency overseeing Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty. The BIB was dissolved and replaced in 1999 by the Broadcasting Board of Governors. In 1985, he retired for the second time from the U.S. government and was appointed diplomat in residence at the George Washington University, where he taught a course on diplomacy in the information age for 10 years. In 1991, President George H.W. Bush appointed him to be a member of the U.S. Advisory Commission on Public Diplomacy and President Bill Clinton reappointed him in 1994. In 1993, he accepted an appointment as a member of the board of the Salzburg Global Seminar. In 2001, he co-founded the Institute for Public Diplomacy and Global Communication and the Public Diplomacy Council. He is still an advisor to the Institute for Public Diplomacy and Global Communication and a member emeritus of the board of the Public Diplomacy Council. In 2009, he received the Voice of America Director's Special Recognition Award. In 2014, his book, Tito, Mihailovich and the Allies, 1941–1945, was republished in Serbia, after his personal recollections about Josip Broz Tito were published by American Diplomacy. The Serbian newspaper Politika covered the story on its front page. Since his retirement from government, he wrote and spoke widely on foreign affairs subjects. Books: Tito, Mihailovich and the Allies, 1941–1945, Rutgers University Press, 1973, reprinted by Duke University Press, 1987. Culture and Information, 2 Foreign Policy Functions, Sage Publications, 1976. Articles, U.S. Experience in Evaluating Information Programs, Zeitschrift für Kulturaustausch, Stuttgart, 1975. The Global Information Revolution and the Communist World, The Washington Quarterly, Spring, 1986. The Information Revolution, A Breakthrough in the East. Quote, The World Today, June 1989. Published in German by the Europäische Rundschau in the fall of 1989. A New Status for Eastern Europe. The World Today, October 1989. Germany, The Gorbachev Memorandum. The World Today, October 1990. Diplomacy in the Information Age. The World Today, July 1991. Published in German by the Europäische Rundschau in the fall of 1991. The Life and Death of Integration in Yugoslavia. Mediterranean Quarterly, Spring 1992. Torn Curtain, Foreign Service Journal, June 1993. The Voices of America, World and AMP, November 1993. Eberhard P. Deutsch, A Comment, Austrian Information Volume 49, Number 11, 1996. Austria as a Model, Foreign Policy, Fall, 1996. Follow the Austrian Model, Washington Quarterly, Winter, 1997. The Only Good Serb is a Mediterranean Quarterly, Summer, 1998. Serbs as Victims, The Washington Post, April 10, 1999. Government Broadcasting, Virtual Diplomacy U.S. Institute of Peace, August 2002. Rebuilding Public Diplomacy, National Strategy Foreign Review, Spring 2004. The Evolution of Diplomacy, Mediterranean Quarterly, Summer 2006. What is public diplomacy? Past practices, present conduct, possible future, Mediterranean Quarterly, Fall, 2007. Rebooting America's Image Abroad, Worldview, February 14, 2009. The Voice of America, Origins and Recollections, American Diplomacy, October 26, 2009. The Voice of America, Origins and Recollections 2, American Diplomacy, January 11, 2011. The Israel-Palestine Conflict, 1967 Lines with Mutually Agreed Swaps, American Diplomacy, Sept. 21, 2011. The Day Austria Disappeared from the Map, American Diplomacy, February 10-12. Years of Self-Inflicted Disasters, Austria before annexation in 1938, American Diplomacy, May 2012. Austria Redux, How Austria Reappeared on the Map of Europe, American Diplomacy, September 2013. Tito, Personal Reflections, American Diplomacy, February 2014.